The recording is December 2nd, and I wanted to share some things with you as a pastoral update in this season of Advent, this time of waiting and waiting and more waiting. A colleague of mine recently said, it's interesting, we read the scripture, the people in the scriptures waited a lot for sometimes generations. We are having a hard time just for these few months. So we can only begin to appreciate what many people across the decades and centuries and millennia have experienced far more profoundly. So as we read Scripture, maybe we can learn from them in this Advent season. You can tell I'm ready for the celebration of the season. You can see my Christmas tree behind me. I've got peace here and hope up there, joy, love are elsewhere on the tree. I'm wearing the color for Advent, purple, and it'll change on Christmas Eve. I'll change it out and have a different color. But I want to, one, make sure that you have read the pastoral letter I sent out, or I should say our office manager, Chris, sent it out to you, and it has the Emmanuel graphic on it. And then inside you'll find a letter of greeting about the season, and then the calendar of all the worship services and the special offerings. Be sure to look at the special offerings. And I do right up front want to remind you, if you have in the past taken an ornament, and on the other side of the ornament is a gift that you're asked to buy for someone who needs to celebrate the season, but they can't without your gift. So this is for Empower YOLO. And if you are able and interested in giving a gift this year, please contact Jim Kramer or our church office ASAP so that you can get the information you need, purchase the gift, and then we can get it to the person who will enjoy it for Christmas. So please do that right away if you can. But the other offerings are in there, and the services and church chats, the youth group meetings, a lot of those details are there. Along the topic of worship services, let me say that I want to thank those of you who are reading for the lighting of the Advent wreath. I will be recruiting some other folks to help read for our Christmas Eve service. So thank you for participating that way and sharing your gifts and talents. And I want to thank those of you who put up the Christmas tree and the Advent wreath and all the decorations that enhance our live streaming from the sanctuary, and other recordings that have taken place in the sanctuary for this season. We always enjoyed them when we were in person, and now because of your help, we are able to enjoy it on the screen through the recordings. And I know there have been some technical glitches watching either on Facebook, not so much on YouTube, I think, but particularly a delay between the movement of our mouths and then hearing the words. So you just look away from the screen and listen to it, or turn off the sound and just watch it. Suggestion from my dad. Anyway, we're working to resolve those issues just as quickly as possible. If you think you can help, please give us a call. But Dick Dowell and Dave Atkinson have done a fantastic job of keeping us going all these months. And so I'm so grateful to them and for your patience as we work through these issues. Next Wednesday, December 9th, and you may be seeing this after that, but we're having our annual Charge Conference where we elect church officers, and we take note of our membership, and we vote on clergy compensation for the coming year, all those issues with our new district superintendent, Shinya Goto. And so the church council will be meeting for that this year, only the church council. I know in the past, the whole church was invited, but this year having to do things a little differently just to manage the space and the time online. But we'll be reporting the results of that. And on that note, if you have served in the church as a church officer in the past 2 or 3 years, and you're eligible to come off the committee, please hang on one more year if you can, or at least until we get through the COVID. This kind of stability is really what gives us the resilience as a church to see us through. We need the leadership, we need your gifts and talents, we need your initiative, all of that to keep our community operating as well as it is. And it really is operating well, even under these circumstances. And that's a credit to you. It's a sign of our faith and the relationships that we've developed over the years. So thank you so much. And that has shown in our stewardship giving campaign this year. The giving has been tremendous. I mean, more than we anticipated. Not all that we're going to need necessarily, but far more than we anticipated, which shows that even in times like this, or maybe especially in times like this, you have stepped up in your faithfulness in giving, not just your time, but your financial giving. So thank you. And if you haven't done that yet, I certainly hope you will take some time, pray about it, and then see what you might be able to pass along for ministries through the church. And we appreciate that very much. Going on to our small groups. If you are a small group leader, be sure to report the participation levels, the attendance in those groups to our office manager. That information goes to the conference office, and then they use that to make decisions to see also how we're doing in terms of our life in community. And then youth group, we are meeting, and I'm hoping some of you are going to help with the Christmas Eve service, and we got a surprise or two in store for you, the youth counselors, John Udy, Julia Butler, and myself. So stay tuned and be there the first and third Sunday evenings at 6 o'clock. Our children are receiving monthly packets for arts and crafts and lessons. They otherwise would have done that in Sunday school, but as you know, we're staying at home, trying to care for one another in those ways. And so Julia Butler has gone to your homes and has delivered those packets, and I hear great reports. You have a lot of fun with those and is staying in touch with our faith narrative. And I'm so grateful for Julia just doing that and for your enjoyment. Give us feedback if there's something else you'd like to see. We'd appreciate that. And the play structure, by the way, is coming along. When the day comes, and it will, when we'll open and be in person again, you have a chance to play on that. It's looking great. Brian Horsfield, Brian Williams, Dick Dow, so many of you have come to help out to make sure that gets put together well and that the surrounding is inclined for your safety and our safety. So thank you for all of you put some effort into that and making that dream a reality now. And you can just drive by the church and look at it for now if you wanted to. And then I want to mention the United Methodist Women, one of the most worthwhile organizations in Methodism. I'd say I would draw the line all the way back to Susanna Wesley. John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist Church, his mother taught all the kids. I think there were 13 of them, and taught John the basics of his faith. And women have been, as you know, the leaders and support for Jesus's ministry from the beginning. And that still continues in the United Methodist Church with the United Methodist Women. You don't have to be a member. You can come and participate. And if you're interested or have other questions, call our church office or call Rosa Washington Olson, and she'd be happy to share all the ministries and missions, community, and work of our UMW, we call it. So think about participating in that way. On another note, a more somber note, and I know that many of you know this already, but some of you were here when Wanda and Don Kennedy were members of the church, and we've learned that COVID has taken their life. Wanda worked as one of the early leaders of the Interfaith Rotating Winter Shelter, the IRWS we call it, And Don and Wanda both initiated the Feed My Sheep ministry of the church that provides meals for folks who need those. And it's just, I know that many of you just tear up, and you also smile because you know the life and their faith when they were here. And so we miss that, and it's one of my sad duties to report that to you. And then just tonight, we learned that after a well-fought battle with cancer, Estelle Jones died at home under hospice care, the watchful eye of her husband and daughter and granddaughter. And well, I did know Estelle too, and some of you much longer than I, but what a wonderful witness to faith, to love of family, to friendships in the church. I'm going to miss her terribly, and I know that many of you are as well. So let's continue to pray for the friends and families of the Kennedys and the Jones family. And there may be an online service for Estelle. I'm in conversation about that with her daughter, and I'll be letting you know more about that as it develops. But let's keep them all in prayer, and I'll let you know more as I do. Thank you for the work, Judith McKibben, putting out the prayer chain. That keeps us all informed, and many of you contribute to that process. So I thank all of you that let us know who needs prayer, and we're glad to be a part of that support for you. And also our Stephen ministry, the ministers continue to train the caregivers, and we are certainly grateful for the fruits borne by that ministry here at Davis United Methodist Church. Well, as we approach the new year, I'm hoping that we can push ahead and try to do some in-person things. I'm thinking March with the winds, as they say. We could go to a park and do some kite flying, and those safe distancing things until the vaccine that has been announced, or the vaccines, plural, that have been announced, roll out, and that we take them, and then we start to develop the herd immunity, and then we can safely gather again. But even before that, we're going to try to get together in the ways that we can more in the new year. So please pray, and we'll let you know as those opportunities develop. Well, I have a couple of poems on the written part of the Pastoral Update in the e-newsletter, and so I hope that you'll take those. They both come from retired Methodist pastor Stephen Garnos Holmes. Lovely prayers, wonderful poetry, and contemplations. And so I hope that those will serve you. One is about speaking comfort to people. He references the prophet Isaiah. And the other is about Advent. And I hope that both of those will serve to inspire you, to comfort you, and to give you a way to share in this season of waiting, of Advent. So peace be yours, and may you open all of the gifts, hope, peace, joy, and love, this Christmas as we celebrate the presence of Emmanuel, God with us. Take care.